Hello students, how are you? I hope that you all are fine and safe at your home. Students, in today's video lecture, we are going to discuss the topic of grammar. And this topic is figures of speech. Yes students. Students, as we know that figure of speech is not included in ordinary language. It can be included in figurative and decorative language. Figure of speech helps us a lot to make the language more innovative, more impressive and more decorative. So actually, what is this and how can it be helpful for our routine life and in English language as well as literature? Let's have a glance upon that. First, we have to see the introduction of figures of speech. Let's see the definition first. A figure of speech is a word or phrase using figurative language, not simple language, but figurative language, decorative language, language that has other meaning than its normal definition. It means in another word also we can find that figure of speech conveys the meaning in the different way. For example, we can find a sentence, the words show some different meanings, but with the help of figure of speech, we can convey it in unique manner and in different manner rather than the words. It can be paradox also, it can be irony also. How does it work? Let's see that. In other words, figures of speeches rely on implied or suggested meaning rather than a dictionary definition. It means figure of speech doesn't follow word to word or dictionary meaning, but in figure of speech we can find some hidden meanings, some different meanings rather than ordinary language in our routine. Okay, how many types of figure of speech are there? Students, we can find so many types in figure of speech, even more than 100, even more than thousands. There are so many types in language, but here we will focus on few parts of few types of figures of speech. Okay, there are countless figures of speech in every language. It is not only about English language, but it is about so many languages. You can find Sanskrit, you can find Hindi, you can find Gujarati, any language you find, because it's all about language. Figure of speech, it is not the term related, it is not the word related, the language English only, but it focuses, we can find in so many languages. It is not bound with the single language, and they fall into hundreds of categories. Here, though, is a short list of some of the most common types of figure of speech, mostly related to our exam. They are mainly used, the important portion of figure of speech, the main types we can find. And the first one is metaphor. Okay, the metaphor is the figure of speech same like simile. First we have to learn metaphor and then I will explain you what is simile. In metaphor, students, we can find the comparison. In simile also we can find the comparison. But both the figure of speeches are different. How? Let's see. Many common figures of speech are metaphors. That is, they use words in a manner other than their literal meaning. However, metaphors use figurative language to make comparisons between unrelated things or ideas. It means mainly these figure of speech, metaphor can be used to make comparison. See students, here we are going to compare the things. The difference between metaphor and simile also we will see. In metaphor, we will compare the things directly. For example, a person is very much strong and very courageous. So we can see that, oh, that is the tiger of this town. It means here the comparison has been made of that person with the tiger. We told that, oh, that is the tiger of that town. Here that person is not actually tiger, that person is not animal, but because of this courage, we have made the comparison of that person with tiger. The peak of her career. We can find here the another example of metaphor when comparison has been made. स्टूडेंट्स, मेटाफोर वो फिगर ऑफ स्पीच है जिसमें हम कंपैरिजन फाइंड कर सकते हैं. ये कंपैरिजन हमें डायरेक्टली करना होगा. डोंट बी कंफ्यूज्ड. मेटाफोर एंड सिमिली, ये दोनों फिगर ऑफ स्पीच में हम लोग कंपैरिजन करने वाले हैं, पर ये दोनों कंपैरिजन अलग तरीके से होंगे. व्हाई एंड हाउ? लेट्स सी. पीक ऑफ हर करियर, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, is a metaphor. This is the example of metaphor, figure of speech. Since a career is not a literal mountain with a peak, but the metaphor represents the idea of arriving at the highest point of one's career. Here, peak of her career. It means here it is not about peak you can find on concrete form, but because when someone is on the highest top of the career, you can say that that is her peak of the career. As I told you, that is the tiger of that town. That person is not tiger. वो person जो है वो tiger नहीं है, वो तो इंसान है. तो animal क्यों बोला हमने? यही तो बात है, क्योंकि उसमें टाइगर जितना करेज है, वो टाइगर जितना ब्रेव है, इसलिए हमने इस तरह से उसके कंपैरिजन कर दी कि हमने उन्हें डायरेक्टली टाइगर ही बोल दिया. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल, वन पर्सन इज वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. कोई स्टूडेंट है जो क्लास में बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट है. ओके, बहुत ही ज्यादा उसका आईक्यू पावर है. तो हम क्या बोल सकते हैं? व्हाट कैन वी सी? ओ, ही इज द आइंस्टाइन ऑफ दिस क्लास. हम ऐसे बोल सकते हैं. अगर वो उसका मैथ्स वगैरह बहुत ही अच्छा है तो हम आइंस्टाइन के साथ सपोज उसकी कंपैरिजन करना चाहते हैं. एंड सपोज वी नीड टू यूज मेटाफोर. अगर हम मेटाफोर यूज करना चाहते हैं, सो हम कैसे बोलेंगे? हाउ कैन वी से दैट ही इज द आइंस्टाइन ऑफ दिस क्लास? अरे वो तो इस क्लास का आइंस्टाइन है. तो यहाँ पे हमने ऐसे नहीं बोल दिया कि वो आइंस्टाइन है, इसका मतलब वो अल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन बन नहीं जाएगा, पर हमने उसके कंपैरिजन उसके साथ इस तरीके से बोली है, इस तरीके से करी है कि कोई भी इंसान आसानी से समझ जाता है कि अच्छा, उसे आइंस्टाइन बोला है, इट मीन्स उसका मैथ्स बहुत अच्छा होगा, वो बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट होगा. सो मेटाफोर इज द फिगर ऑफ स्पीच दैट वी कैन कन्वे द मीनिंग इन सच अ वे विद द कंपैरिजन द मीनिंग कैन बी कन्वेड बैक. अच्छी तरह से उसका मीनिंग कन्वे हो जाता है. हिडन मीनिंग होता है उसमें, पर किस तरह से होता है? कंपैरिजन करते हैं. पर यहाँ पे हम डायरेक्टली कंपैरिजन करते हैं. डायरेक्टली कंपैरिजन का मतलब क्या होगा? आप कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. दैट व्हाट इज द मीनिंग मीन्स हियर डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन, दैट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू मेक यूज ऑफ एनी अदर वर्ड्स लाइक, एज, सो. हम ऐसे नहीं बोल रहे, ओ ही इज लाइक आइंस्टाइन. हमने ऐसे नहीं बोला, हमने डायरेक्टली बोल दिया, ओ ही इज आइंस्टाइन, ही इज आइंस्टाइन. राइट? कैन यू गेट इट? सो इन दिस वे मेटाफोर कैन बी अंडरस्टूड. क्लियर? सपोज यू फाइंड एनी काइंड ऑफ डिफिकल्टी, यू आर फ्री टू आस्क मी एनी टाइम. ओके, लेट्स सी. So here now the next figure of speech is simile. I had told you students, these two figure of speech, these two are different from each other, but we can find some similarity also here. ये दोनों figure of speech जो है वो एक दूसरे से काफी अलग है, बिल्कुल ही अलग है, पर फिर भी हम इसमें कुछ similarity पा सकते हैं. Okay, what is the similarity? That in these both the figure of speech we can find the comparison. ये दोनों figure of speech है, उसमें हमें comparison करना है, ये है उसके बीच की similarity. ओके, देन व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? इन दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है कि हम मेटाफोर में डायरेक्टली कंपैरिजन कर देते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ही इज आइंस्टाइन ऑफ दिस क्लास, और सिमिली में हमें डायरेक्टली कंपैरिजन नहीं करना है. How that he is like Einstein of this class. Okay, with the help of these words like, as, so, with the help of these words when we make comparison, it is the figure of speech simile. Okay, a simile is a very common figure of speech that uses the word like and as to compare two things that are not related by definition. For example, he is as tall as a mountain. कुछ ऐसे हमें बोला जाता है कि कभी कभी ऐसे लगता है कि ऐसे हो सकता है क्या? Is it real? Something, it is the kind of imagination also. For example, he is as tall as a mountain. उसकी कंपैरिजन यहाँ पे माउंटेन के साथ कर दी है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो माउंटेन जितना ही टॉल है. Here it doesn't mean that he is as tall, actually as tall as mountain. But the meaning is, the hidden meaning is that actually here they need to mention the kind of height that is really tall. Anybody can find whenever we say he is as tall as a mountain, it means we can easily understand, oh, he's really tall. So this is the meaning. He is as tall as a mountain doesn't mean he was actually 1000 feet tall. It just means he was really tall. For example, suppose I say that he is, again the same kind of sentence so that you can find the difference. Suppose I say that he is as brave as tiger. So यहाँ पे मैंने इस तरह से comparison में किया है कि यहाँ पे as word को हम use करते हैं. And I can use other words also like or so. For example, he is brave like a tiger. Okay? इन दोनों sentences में हम comparison find कर सकते हैं. Whenever you find simple, see, don't be confused, it is very simple. Whenever comparison has been made and you find the words, first as, second like, and third so. When the comparison has been made with these three words, as, like, and so, remember that it is the figure of speech simile. Suppose you don't find these words, and also you can find the comparison, it means that is the figure of speech metaphor. Okay, in both this figure of speech you can find the comparison, but this is the difference, that in metaphor we directly make the comparison and in simile we make the comparison with the help of words. This example uses a simile for comparison. Here the example has been given to us that shows the use of figure of speech simile. For example, the internet is like a window to the world. You can learn about everything online. So here you can find the use of figure of speech simile. Okay, how can you find the use of figure of speech simile? Come on, see, here it is used the word like. It means here like is used. That's why easily we can find that it is the use of figure of speech simile. Comparison has been made. Okay, which comparison? The internet is like a window. So here internet has been compared with window. इंटरनेट का जो कंपैरिजन है वो यहाँ विंडो के साथ हुआ है. टू द वर्ल्ड, ये जो इंटरनेट है ये पूरे वर्ल्ड का विंडो है. इंटरनेट इज लाइक a window to the world. It is said here, you can learn about everything online. So here you can find the use of figure of speech simile. Okay, next one we can find idioms. It is something different. What is that? Let's see. It is also, I think, familiar term with you. An idiom is a common phrase with a figurative meaning. Idioms are different from other figures of speech in that their figurative meaning are mostly known within a particular language, culture or group of people. It is difficult to find idiom because it is not that much decorative and it is not like proper symbolic like simile or personification or metaphor we can find generally in our culture, language or group of people. How can we find it and what is symbols? That also we can find with the help of examples. The first example you can find here, this sentences uses an idiom to make it more interesting. Whenever you want to use the language in more interesting manner, you can use this idiom. There is a supermarket and a pharmacy in the mall. So if we go there, we can kill two birds with one stone. Here you can underline, students, we can kill two birds with one stone. Here hidden meaning we can find that there is a supermarket. There is a place here called supermarket and pharmacy also. This both the places are there in the mall. So if we go there, suppose we are going to that place, then what will be happened? We can kill two birds with one stone. It means we can do two works, both the works at the same time. Here actually they are not going to kill the birds, but here they want to convey that we can do this both the things together at the same time, at once. Here hidden meaning you can find, the meaning is not killing, here it is written kill, पर उसका मीनिंग ये नहीं होता है कि वो मॉल में जा रहे हैं बर्ड्स को मारने के लिए, पर इसके पीछे का हिडन मीनिंग ये है कि वहाँ पे एक मॉल है और वहाँ पे सुपरमार्केट भी है और वहाँ पे फार्मेसी भी है. अगर हम वहाँ पे जाते हैं तो हम दो बर्ड्स को एक ही स्टोन से मार सकेंगे. एक्चुअली वो बर्ड्स को मारने की बात बिल्कुल भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, पर वो ये बोलना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर हम वहाँ पे जाते हैं तो हमारे दोनों काम एक साथ हो जाएंगे. सो हियर इट इज सेड किल टू बर्ड्स विथ वन स्टोन. सो here in idioms you can find that hidden meaning. Words shows something different, but the meaning also that is something different. The idiom is a common way of saying that two tasks can be completed in the same amount of time or same place. Here you can underline, students, this is the main usage, that idiom is a common way of saying that two tasks can be completed in the same amount of time or at the same time. Like here, that killing two birds with one stone. It means doing two different things at the same time. Clear? Okay, next we are going to talk, that is irony. From this word only you can have some click in your mind that what is about this irony. Let's see. Irony is when a word or phrase's literal meaning is the opposite of its figurative meaning. Words show something different and the meaning is also something different. Many times, not every time, not always, irony is expressed with sarcasm, means sea-related terms. For example, we can find, maybe you eat a really bad cookie and then say, wow, that was the best cookie. Here irony means you can find the taunting also. In simple language we can say taunting. For example, wow, that was the best cookie. It means actually it was not best, actually it was the worst, really bad, you didn't like, you didn't enjoy, and that's why you said in taunt, wow, that's the best cookie I ever had. It means actually you want to say that it is not well, actually it is the worst. आप ऐसे बोलना चाह रहे हो कि वो तो बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं, इनफैक्ट बहुत बुरा है, पर आप उसे नेगेटिव वर्ड्स में यूज़ नहीं करना चाह रहे हो. आप टॉन्ट मार के उससे यूज़ करना चाहते हो, आप सटायर यूज़ करना चाहते हो, तो आप कैसे बोलोगे कि वाह ये तो बहुत अच्छा है. एक्चुअली द मीनिंग इज समथिंग डिफरेंट, और जो इंसान है वो समझ भी जाता है कि एक्चुअली इसका मीनिंग कुछ और था, और आपको कुछ बुरा बोलने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं पड़ती है. फॉर दिस मीनिंग, फॉर दिस पर्पस, दिस irony can be used. Students, in so many works of literature you can find this satire, this irony. Jonathan Swift, he is the writer and critical. So Jonathan Swift is very well known for writing satires using irony. Of course, what you really mean is that it's the worst cookie you ever had. But being ironic actually emphasizes just how bad it was. जब भी आप आयरनी यूज़ करते हो वो उसे एम्फेसाइज करता है, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस से वो बहुत ही इफ़ेक्टिवली वो बात को प्रेजेंट करता है. अगर आप आपको कोई चीज़ पसंद नहीं आई है और आप डायरेक्टली उसे बोल नहीं पाते हो और उसे ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्टिव तरीके से बोलना चाहते हो तो आप इस तरह से यूज़ करना चाहते हो, इस तरह से आप बोल सकते हो. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, सो लेट्स सी दैट व्हाट डिड वी डिस्कस टुडे. हमारा आज का डिस्कशन का समरी देख लेते हैं. फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच. ओके, मेनली वी डिस्कस्ड फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच एंड इन फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच वी डिडंट कंप्लीट ऑल द पोर्शन, okay, the entire portion, but we discussed here 4 topics. The first one is metaphor. This is the figure of speech mainly used for making comparison. Okay, simile also can be used for making comparison, but the difference is that in metaphor we make the comparison directly without helping any other words. Okay, and in simile we make the comparison with the help of 3 words like, as and so. Whenever comparison has been made with the help of these 3 words, it will be the figure of speech simile. For example, he is like Einstein of this class. So here as has been used. Okay, so that's why it is figure of speech simile. He is like the lion of this town. So here when the comparison has been made with the help of these words like, as and so, it will be the figure of speech simile. But when we are not using these words and directly make the comparison, it will be the figure of speech metaphor. For example, he is tiger of this town, he is Einstein of this class. So directly we make the comparison, that's why it becomes the figure of speech metaphor. In irony, what can be happened, that irony shows the kind of paradox, the kind of contrast, okay, the kind of taunt you can find. When the worst thing happened or something negative thing happened, you don't want to convey it in negative manner, but in positive words you want to convey the same meaning, then irony can be used. For example, we discussed that example of cookies. For example, you didn't like that cookie and it was the very worst in fact, but you said, oh, that's the best cookie, that's the best cake I had ever in my life. It means you want to convey that it is the worst thing, you didn't like it, but you conveyed it in different words, rather opposite words, that is irony. In idioms we can find the hidden meaning. We discussed that example of killing birds, that there is pharmacy also and there is the supermall also. Suppose we visit that place, we can kill 2 birds at 1 stone. Students, idiom can be defined, it can be used for this purpose also, that at the same time you can do 2 different things, okay, that you can discuss, that you can mention here in the idioms. Okay, so in today's video lecture we discuss these 4 points. आज के वीडियो लेक्चर में हमने ये 4 points discuss किए हैं. Suppose you find any kind of difficulty, any kind of query, you are free to ask me. Okay, learn well and get well. Thank you students, have a nice day.